What's up, guys? Today I got another build for you we're going to dive right into. It's called the Weightless Fire Hunter. The main source of damage with this build is going to be the status effect damage applied by your fire arrows. You're going to see right off the bat you want to utilize the area around you, barrels, ghost weapon damage as well, to be able to scale the damage across as many enemies as possible at once between the status damage and the other types on the build. It also has Oni damage, so any damage types you apply will be combined with that percentage as well. The benefit to running Weightless is not only the fact that the arrows have no gravitational drop, but you can fire Weightless so fast to just build Resolve so quickly, and that's another huge part of this build. Is it's only a 3-piece ult, but it's a 3-piece fire ult, and you can actually have some instances where you could have an enemy such as a purple Oni Lord sitting at around 70% health. You hit him with that ult, and between the status effect damage, Oni damage, ult damage, and the status effect duration, that enemy will actually die. So as long as you're using this build correctly, you can actually clear any nightmare spawn with 10 arrows or less, not counting the ult or the explosive arrow. There's an extra cooldown on the explosive arrow on this build as well, so you can get that more often. Another thing to keep in mind with this build is you have Way of the Flame running on it. Way of the Flame is not for you to charge in as a melee hunter hybrid. Way of the Flame is to be utilized in this build as cleanup duty. If there's 1 or 2 enemies left, you pull out Way of the Flame, save your fire arrows, no reason to use them. Just run up, do your thing, get rid of the enemies, and move on. Once you get good enough with this build, you can actually count arrows. 1, 2, 3, this Oni's done, I can move on. Makes it way easier if you're going to get that into it. You'll notice that I take a ton of damage from a Tengu here. I apply a fire arrow, let it drain most of his health, and then finish him off with a regular arrow. A huge bonus to this build is having combat regeneration on it. If you're clearing these spawns as quickly as you see in this video, you're actually not going to have to worry about health much because so much of it is going to come back. And you really shouldn't be taking that much damage anyway between the amount of mobility and the amount of constant damage you're able to spread around each spawn that pops up in front of you. Another quick note on the arrow counting. I shoot the Tengu here with 3 arrows. You actually only need 2 to kill him. Just wanted to show the damage on the build a little bit. Couple pros and cons before I show you the build on the lobby screen. Obviously, because you're not running a smoke bomb, you don't have munitions. So knowing when to use fire arrows only as an application and finish them off with regular arrows to keep your ammo consumption at a minimum is going to be key. That's something you'll learn as time goes on with the build. And obviously, as you see in the last area, you really shouldn't be running into an area and popping off all 9 of your fire arrows at once anyway. As long as you use them tactically with the rest of the build, you shouldn't ever clear the entire quiver and just be constantly out needing ammo. The build does enough damage for you to take care of everything without having to worry about that. We're going to go ahead and head back to the lobby so I can go ahead and explain the build to you guys a little bit more. Obviously, it uses the Weightless bow. It's rolled for range damage, headshot refund to not have to worry about regular arrow ammo, as well as shield piercing. You can really go shield piercing or helmet piercing. I prefer shields because when enemies duck behind their shield, they cover their face. I could fire through it. I would rather do that personally than just be able to fire it through a helmet on a few enemies. Again, that's up to you. You have to run a stealth charm with this to be able to have the scaling status effect damage with the Oni damage. There's a version of this where you could run the Spirit Kunai instead of the ability that lowers the cooldown on the explosive arrow. You could do that and switch that up to being a second legendary slot so you can get that back faster, and that would also help with cooldowns on your ghost weapons. I don't have that running because it turns the build from just having to worry about killing them with fire to you actually having to be a little bit more conscious of killing them with the kunai. Otherwise, there's really no point in having that legendary on there. Other than that, I do hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and wherever you are, I hope you're having yourself a wonderful day.